Another Star Wars Unlimited Leader Spotlight. Today's series, we're going to look at a leader from the Star Wars Unlimited trading card game, and we're going to be talking about some two cool cards within the set that we think works pretty good with the leader. That being said, there are a couple rules we want to go over before we get started. This is a disclaimer. These cards that we talked about won't always be the best cards with the leader in the future and with the metagame, but they are cards that are on face value very synergistic with the leader. Also, in an attempt to keep these videos short as possible, we won't be going over every different card that works well with the leader, and we won't be really going over many cards that are generically good in general, even if that makes them generically good with the leader, just because they're good. What leader are we talking about, though? We're going to be talking about Leia Organa. She's going to be a command and a heroism leader, rebel official. She's going to have an action, attack with a rebel unit, then you may attack with another rebel unit. This means that you can actually take essentially two actions as one, and one as long as those actions are attacking with a rebel unit. So when you have 5 or more resources, you can deploy her as a leader unit. And when you do that, she's going to have a 3/6 stat line, raid 1, and then also when she completes an attack, you may attack with another rebel unit. So again, you can basically cheat out 2 actions in 1 action there, as long as that action is going to be attacking with a rebel unit. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the different cards you can play with her. So let's take a look at first off the command cards you can play with her. She comes on the command symbol, so let's take a look at what that may look like. If you want to play double command, you can use any one of these bases. The energy conversion lab's pretty good here. Getting ambushed with that attack is pretty nice, but ultimately I think using the Echo base is going to be better, especially since ambush doesn't exactly synergize very well with Leia in general. Then you have, or rather, it doesn't overly synergize with Leia. Then you have Mon Mothma, 2 cost, 1 power, 3 HP unit, Rebel, so you can use Leia's ability, and Official. When played, you can circle the top 5 cards of your deck for a Rebel card, reveal it, and draw it. Generally good card because you're going to be looking for those Rebel cards, and you're playing a Rebel, a character who wants those Rebel cards. So obviously, you're going to need a way to find them. That also being said, Echo Base Defender, 3 cost, 4/3 Sentinel, Rebel. It's a pretty good body, and it has a nice Rebel keyword. Also, the Bright Hope, Rebel, 2/6, 4 cost, Sentinel. When played, you may return a friendly non-leader unit, ground unit, to its owner's hand, and if you do, you get to draw a card. Then we have the Home 1, 8 cost, 7/7, Restore, Rebel, and then each other friendly unit is also going to gain Restore. And then also when you play this card, play a heroism unit from your discard pile that costs 3 less. It costs 3 less to do this. So it's going to allow you to get more Rebel units out to the field and do more things with them. And then we also have Rebel Assault, obviously for obvious reasons. 1 cost. Attack with a Rebel unit. It gets +1/+0 for this attack. Then attack with another Rebel unit. It gets +1/+0 for this attack. So it synergizes pretty well with Leia because you're already playing tons of Rebels. Though obviously if you use this ability to attack with Rebel units, unless you have more Rebel units already, you won't be able to use Leia's ability to attack with the Rebel units. But still, it sort of has the same idea and it's going to allow you to work towards the same game plan. Then you have Attack Pattern Delta. If you're playing double command, it's going to be a 3-cost event. Give a friendly unit +3/+3 for the phase. Give another friendly unit +2/+2 for this phase. Give a third friendly unit +1/+1 for this phase. And this works great with Leia because obviously you're making multiple attacks. You can benefit from having multiple things on the field that are buffed for this phase. And so you can play this, and you can activate Leia's ability if you have 2 ready rebels on the field, and then you get to swing one of them being +3/+3, and the other one can be +2/+2. And then of course you still have, maybe if you have a 3rd unit on the field, it could be +1/+1. Very nice. Then if you're playing her on double command, you can play the command innate event. 4 costs. Choose 2 in any order. Give her 2 experience tokens to a unit. Good for buffing up your unit. If you don't know, experience tokens are essentially a +1/+1 counter. A friendly unit also you can also choose to make a friendly unit deal damage to equal to its power to a non-unique enemy unit. Then you can also put this event into play as a resource, or you can return a unit from your discard pile to your hand. All these are generically good abilities and work well with the theme the command gives you. And so, depending on exactly what type of playstyle you're trying to beat into, this can work for many different decks, but it can work pretty well with Leia 2, giving you that nice buff and power with the experience tokens, getting you more rebels from your discard pile with that final effect there, and so there's ways you can use it. Then you can also use the recruit event. It can allow you to search the top 5 cards of the deck for any unit and reveal it and draw it. So it's just going to be a cheap way to search out those rebels. Then you can also play Academy Training, a 2 cost, +2/+2. And so it's just going to generically make your rebels bigger, better, and better. So say you don't want to play a command base. What are some of the cool cards you can play with Leia on aggression? So this is going to be the more red and angry color in the game. So what are some of the cool options? You have Tarkin Town. You can always use that. I think one of the generic bases are completely fine too. As always, the choice is really yours because the effect will come into play, but it just won't always be overly synergistic with Leia. Benthic 2 Tubes is the 1 cost 2/2 Rebel, and on attack, another friendly aggression unit gains Raid 2. I really like Lay on aggression because of how many rebels and how many abilities they get from attacking. So aggression lay is actually one of the coolest ways to play the character. Zeborelius is also a 5 cost 5/5 rebel. When this unit completes an attack, if the defender was defeated, you may deal 4 damage to a ground unit. You can see how these abilities really synergize well with them attacking. Sabine Wren, Rebel, 2/3. While there are at least 3 different aspects among other friendly units in play, this unit can't be attacked. Obviously, this won't always kick off when you're playing Leia, but you could have up to 3 different aspects with heroism, aggression, and command in play. And then also on attack, you may deal 1 damage to the defender, or to a base. So obviously attacking with this card in quick succession with some other cards can deal some pretty decent pressure damage. And then finally, not finally, and then we have the Green Squadron A-Wing, which is a red card. 2 costs, 1/3, Rebel, Raid 2. When it's attacking, it's +2 attack, +2 power. Red 3 is going to be a 3 cost, 2/3, Rebel, Raid 1. Each other friendly heroism unit gains Raid 1. So you're going to have a lot of heroism units in your deck because there's a lot of heroism rebels. So this card is going to be overly synergistic in the long run. Keep Fighting is a cool card. 2 costs. Ready a unit with 3 or less power. It's going to allow you to use those rebels again. If you tap out with Leia using her ability, then you may want to reuse some of these rebels. And if they're weak enough, if they have a little enough power on face, you can ready them up. And that's going to wrap up the cards we're looking at for aggression. But that's not the last of all the aspects within the game. The blue color of vigilance is going to give you some ways to protect those units on the field so you can use them more and more. Security compass is one of the ways to do that. It has an epic action. Give a shield token to a non-leader unit. A pretty good option in my opinion. You can also play the capital city. It's going to be the generic base, which is just going to have a nice 3 HP, or Dagobah Swamp for a more forcey option. Luke Skywalker will start off right off the bat. A good card, a rebel, getting a 7 cost, 6/7, restore 3. So when he attacks, he's going to heal 3 damage from your base. Also, when you play him, you can give an enemy unit -3/-3. And if a friendly unit was defeated this phase, give that enemy unit -6/-6 instead. So just a really big beat stick that you can use to finish out games. The Consular Security Force, though, is going to be a 4 cost, 3/7, big body rebel unit. And then you can also play the Restored Arc 170, right? 2 costs, 2/3, Rebel, and Restore 1. Some other options you have is Moment of Peace, 1 cost, give a shield token to a unit. And then you can also play a beautiful card called Electro Staff. Now, this one I don't talk too much about in these videos, but it's going to be a 2 cost to +2/+2, and you can only attach to a non-vehicle unit. When the attached unit is defending, the attacker gets -1 +0. So it's going to give your body some more defensive staying power. It's essentially going to give them +1 HP, though not exactly. It's going to do some other things, some interesting interactions there, make it not exactly the same. But the point is, it's very similar to the academy training upgrade there that we talked about in command. Then you also have devotion. It's going to be a 2 cost vigilance upgrade, 1/1 +1/+1. Attached unit gains restore 2. And then that's going to really take it for all the vigilance options we have. But there's one more main aspect we have to talk about, which is going to be cunning. Cunning has some pretty cool options. Obviously, Jedi base can work well for you, especially if you're attacking into other people's units. Make them a little more docile can mean surviving more turns, but the option is obviously completely yours because you're going to have to sacrifice that extra 5 HP on your base. Chopper's a rebel unit, 1 cost, 1/3. While you control another Spectre unit, this unit gains raid 1. Not always going to happen when playing Leia Organa, but it could end up happening. On attack, though, you can discard a card from the defending player's deck, and if his event exhausts a resource that player controls, just a little bit of disruption, not always guaranteed to hit, but it's worth something taking a look at. You can also play the other Spectre unit for Cunning, which is going to be Ezra Bridger. It's going to be a 3 cost, 3/4 Rebel. When this unit completes an attack, which means he has to survive, look at the top card of your deck and you may play it, discard it, or leave it at the top of your deck. Generically good card that's going to give you some good searching option, well, not searching option, but filtering options at the worst, and a extend of your hand at best. And then you have Rogue Operative. It's going to be a 3 cost, 2/4 Rebel, Saboteur, and Raid 2. All abilities that really work well with Leia because they're really abilities that work well on aggression and on attacking. Then we have a 4 cost space unit. Sadly, this is not a Rebel, but it's going to be a 3 cost for HP and Ambush. And you can look at some of the events you can play. Disarm is going to be a pretty cool event. Tactic, 1 cost, give an enemy unit -4, -0 for this phase. Is going to allow you to nullify some of your opponent's biggest threats on the board and make it easier for you to swing in without having to worry about dying in return. And then our maneuver is a pretty cool card too with 3 costs. Choose an arena, ground or space. Exhaust each unit in that arena. Now, this doesn't seem like a card at first glance that really is playing into Leia's playstyle, but when you think about it, you're already exhausting out your units faster than your opponents is going to be doing it because you can attack twice with 1 action. So that means that you are going to be in a lot of cases exhausting out your entire, say, ground arena before your opponent maybe even gets the chance to exhaust out any units. This card could actually end up exhausting out, maybe if they have, especially if they have a bigger presence in that arena than you do. You have 2 ready units in the ground arena and your opponent has 4 ready units in the ground arena, and then you attack with them with Leia's ability, you tap out both your units. Then maybe your opponent attacks with 1 of those 4 units, and then you play this card and they exhaust the other 3, and you don't really have to exhaust anything because your unit's already all exhausted. So it's just something to think about if it ever comes up. And then finally, let's take a look at the heroism cards that work well with Leia. Although it's not a main aspect, it's definitely something that you can have dip your toes into and get access to since you're playing a heroism leader. There are a couple good cards with Leia in heroism. R2D2 is one of them. 1 cost, 1/4. When played and when he attacks, look at the top card of your deck. You may put it on the bottom of your deck, or otherwise you can leave it on top of your deck. Just a good way to filter out some cards. It's going to be Rebel, and it's going to gain a benefit for attacking. Then the Fleet Lieutenant is going to be a 3 cost, 3/3. It's going to be a Rebel. When played, you may attack with a unit. If it's a Rebel unit, it gets a +2, +0 for this attack. More ways to cheat out not cheat out text, but cheat out actions here. Then you have General Dodana. So 4 cost, 4/4 Rebel. Other friendly Rebels get +1/+1. Obviously, be generically good, but almost all the cards you're going to be playing are probably going to be Rebels. The Alliance X-Wing, 2 cost, 2/3 Rebel. Generic vanilla card, but it's a Rebel and it's a space card, so it's going to add more space bodies to your deck. Wing Leader is going to be a similar card, 3 cost, 2/1 Rebel space unit. When played, give 2 experience tokens to another Rebel unit. More synergy with the rest of your Rebel cards. An interesting cost card here. It's not always going to work out in any deck, but the Metal Ceremony works probably the best with Leia than all other leaders. It's a 0 cost event, and it can give an experience token to each of up to 3 Rebel units that have attacked this phase. And being the fact that you can cheat out attacks, you can get this to work a little more quickly than other decks, maybe, because it takes them 3 actions to do that, and then they can finally play this card. With you, it's going to take you to get full effect out of this card. Most decks are going to have to take 3 actions, and then their 4th action's going to have to be this card right here. But with Leia and a lot of different decks, especially if you're playing a lot of different ambush effects, even if you're playing them in Leia, I didn't talk about a lot of ambush effects in today's video, but you can play a lot of different ambush effects because Rebels have that. You can end up making it happen really quick. And the thing about waiting too long to attach these experience tokens to your units is because your opponent could try to come in there and kill them before you even get a chance to attach them. So attacking quicker can allow you to actually put the Metal Ceremony, play it out, and get access to those experience tokens before some other decks. And then finally, we're going to take a look at You're My Only Hope. It's not exactly super synergistic with Leia specifically, but it's very thematic with her. 3 costs. Look at the top card of your deck. You may play it. It costs 5 less. And if your base has 5 or less remaining HP, you may play it for free instead. So if you're losing, it gets even better for you. But obviously, it's supposed to be very thematic with the movie, and so I figured I'd put it in this video because it does have some good effects in Leia specifically, not specifically, but Leia and other decks in general. But that's going to be it for today's video. That's going to be all the cards we're going to look at for the Leia leader, and Star Wars Unlimited trading card game. Let me know if you guys have any personal cards that you guys particularly like playing with the Leia leader, and tell me if you guys are going to end up playing Leia, whether that be in a pre-release event or just hoping to actually build a constructed deck with this leader card. And let me know what other leaders you guys are excited to play in the comment section below. And come back later for more Star Wars Unlimited leader spotlights, and go watch some of the other ones that we have posted on our channel. And hopefully I'll see you guys there. Well, that's going to be all for now, but if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead and watch some of our other videos that we've made on this channel. Also, give this video a like if you thoroughly enjoyed it. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our future content. And I hope to see you guys back at the Roost.